is there's been a lot of news this year. 2021 has brought a lot of different news items. Some good, some not as good. Obviously, finishing, getting through the pandemic by getting the vaccine is occupying a lot of our time and energy and resources. We've had some fantastic economic development news in the early part of this year, finishing first in the Site Selection magazine. Competition for the first time in our city's history has been newsworthy. Recently, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, there's been discussion about how we should best make use of the American Rescue Plan resources that have come from Washington. So there's been a lot of news, a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. But I don't want to lose sight, and I don't want the citizens of Toledo to lose sight, despite all of that news, of what truly 2021 will be remembered for, in my judgment. And that is a historic amount of road repair. For the first time in the history of the city of Toledo, we have a dedicated funding stream that can only be used for road repair. Now, this isn't news necessarily, but it bears repeating. We've resurfaced roads in the past, of course, but we've been having to choose from among other capital needs to do so, because we didn't have a dedicated stream that could only be spent fixing roads. Because of the wisdom of the voters of Toledo last fall, and by voting yes on issue 4, now we do. And to have a standalone dedicated stream of funding that can only be spent on roads is going to be a game changer for this city. And while I do anticipate this being a year of many more exciting news developments, when we're finally able to take off the masks and go back to Mud Hen games and celebrate the Solheim Cup and all of the wonderful things that we want to do this year, that will just add to the sense of energy and excitement and all of the many things happening in Toledo. But all along, our employees, including, this is my product placement moment. They wanted me to hold this hat that says that Geddes Paving is doing this particular project, so there you have it. Geddes, leaders in, I don't know, I'm just trying to do the, if it was a Pepsi or a Coke, I could have come up with something more whimsical. But all through this summer, day after day, what you see happening here on Beachway is going to happen throughout the neighborhoods of Toledo. It will, there has never been a year with as much road work as we will see this year, but we're going to do the same amount or more next year, the same amount or more the year after, the same amount or more the year after that. Then the citizens will reassess and have a chance to renew or not renew the roads levy and decide whether they want more road repair or not. But for the next 4 years, beginning this week, that's why we're here today, because the program begins this week, we are kicking off a record-setting historic amount of road repair in our city. You've heard me talk about the numbers before, but we're going to say them one more time. Last year, we resurfaced less than 3 miles of residential roads. This year, we're going to do more than 42 miles. That's almost 15 times more. What does that mean in terms of, and by the way, we're talking about residential roads, that we have matching funds and such for the Detroit avenues and Hill Avenue and Secor and the big roads like that. We're talking about roads like Stamford and Beachway, residential roads. We're doing 15 times more than we did last year, and the next year we will do at least that amount, if not more. What did our road program look like last year? Well, on the placard to the far right, mainly dominated by white space, you will see the 7 residential roads that we were able to fix last year. To the left, you will see the 109 residential roads that we are going to fix this year, including right here, Beachway from, what does this say, Copeland to Sherwood. My eyes are already failing me out. Yeah, that's right. Is that right? Good. All right. And for anyone watching on social media, I know the citizens on Berwick are just as excited about their project, and that's going to happen this year too. So this is what the citizens of Toledo asked of us. This is what they voted to accomplish, and it's just, you really can't have a better visual than what we were able to do last year without a dedicated funding stream, and what we're going to do this year with one. And next year we'll do the same amount, and the year after the same amount, and the year after the same amount. There is a lot going on in Toledo, and some people have different ideas and notions about how we should spend the rescue money here, or should we rezone this plot of earth there, and how should we help kids? And those are all, this summer, those are all good and important questions, and we will work through them. But everyone in this community is united in the belief that our roads need repair. That's why issue 4 was passed. That's why we're going to do that work. And so the reason we're here today is because this is the first week of our program. We're starting this week. We're at the starting line. And we will finish these 109 roads, we believe, by October 1st. We're giving ourselves a little wiggle room in saying October 16th to be sure, simply because that's Doug Stevens' birthday. We have contracted out all of this work already, and in every one of the contracts, we are requiring that the work be done by October 1st, but every one of those contracts has a little bit of wiggle room for contingency. Regardless, mid-October, these 109 roads are done. We thought we were going to start April 15th and finish October 1st, but Mother Nature has given us the break we need to actually start this week. So this is the week we kick it off. Between now and mid-October, 42 miles of road, 15 times more than we did last year, 109 roads as opposed to the 7 we did last year. We're ready to go, we're excited, and it starts today. So I would like to turn it over to the President of Council, Matt Cherry, to make remarks. And not only is he the President of Council, but he's also the district member of council who represents this neighborhood. I'd like to hear after that maybe from either April or Allison, who are involved in the block watch, and neighbors. And then we're going to have a very special, though I admit corny, way to kick off our road construction season. But we'll get to that after the remarks. So, Council President.
Thank you, Mayor. I won't take too much time. I just have a lot of thank yous, I guess. I first off want to thank you and your team for the hard work on getting the issue passed. Stevens, good work on getting this list put together, and my colleagues on council. They definitely worked their butts off to make sure that we got the right message out to the voters. But the true people to thank here today are the voters, are the citizens of the city of Toledo. I came on council in 2014, and as Allison, the leader of the block watch here, would know, every time you went walking into her meeting, you better be prepared to talk about Beachway. So this was definitely on a list of things that I wanted to get done in my time on council, and I'm very proud to be a part of today. Again, I can't stress the fact that we are very thankful to the citizens and the voters of the city of Toledo. This will finally get Toledo's residential infrastructure back to where we need it, and it's going to be a long road, but we're going to get there, and we're going to make Toledo an even better place to live in the future. So thank you.
Either one, Allison, April, the Basset Hound.
I won't. Hi, I'm Allison Snyder. I'm the leader of the Block Watch here in Beverly, and I guess the point I wanted to say is, in a year like we've experienced, our neighborhoods and our homes matter so much more than they ever have. We've been spending so much time at home, and I can see from living in this neighborhood how much this street gets used by pedestrians, cyclists, and it's so important to us that this project is on the list this year, and we are so happy that the city decided to take this one on. We know it's a big one. It's a big street with a boulevard, and it's got a big scope, but it needed to be done, and we really appreciate the mayor and your staff taking this on this year. So.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is April, and I live right here on Beachway. I can see my house from here. This is just really exciting for me because I see it as a great investment and a great improvement on something that is, it needs improved, and it has for a while. And like Allison said, this street gets used a lot. Lots of walkers and residents who really love to live here. And when you love something, you make necessary improvements and you invest in it. And that's what I see happening now. Seeing it unfold. And I do want to thank just the city for having this on their radar, and then not only that, making it happen when it became possible. So,
Doug, do you want to say anything about the logistics of this? So we'll hear from Doug, and then after that we'll officially kick off the road construction season with a bit of corniness, but it'll be fun.
Well, I just wanted to say, from the department and public utilities and the Division of Engineering Services, this is something that, we'd always hoped the day would come where there'd be consistent funding. So we're thankful, again, to the residents for voting for this. There was an incredible amount of effort put into this program, those 109 streets that you see. I mean, we have a small group of people. We have a half a dozen people who design these projects, maybe 7 engineers who manage them. We have, maybe a dozen or so construction technicians that inspect everything that goes in the ground. So it was a big undertaking. It took a lot of effort to coordinate it up front. We've gotten all the projects out. They've been bid out. We're ready to go. And it's going to be a lot of work for our guys through the summer. But I just want to say thanks to them as well. It's just it takes an incredible amount, and to keep this momentum going over the next few years, there's no end in sight. So we're thankful for that, and are looking forward to the construction season.
All right.
Mayor, the other thing we didn't mention is how many great construction jobs this is going to create for Toledoans.
Yeah, in addition to the, Matt's right, in addition to the value it provides in the neighborhoods, $20 million a year every year for the next 4 years, that's actually also a boost to our economy. There are hardworking men and women who work here in Toledo. They're going to have their hands full getting this work done. I joked about the product placement of the Geddes hat, but that's true. There are companies like that, and Crestline and so many others who are who have to meet payroll and who hire people and who are going to be doing this work. So the multiplier effects are substantial. As we conclude, I want to point out one other thing. I know, I still don't believe this is necessarily a hurdle we have to clear in Toledo as much as maybe for the elected officials in Washington. But generally speaking, I know there's a lot of cynicism that citizens direct toward their government. There's trust that has eroded over the years. Again, I think much more so in Washington than in any local government in this country, but the struggle to communicate to our citizens our sincerity in following through on a pledge is important. It builds the trust needed to govern. We derive our power in city government from the consent of the governed. That comes right out of the Declaration of Independence. And so in a time of high cynicism, it is important to have events like this. I know this might seem a little, well, you don't even know what we're about to do yet, but when you see it, you might roll your eyes at the goofiness maybe of it. But this is important because in an environment where we're trying to build trust and trying to show the voters that we're following through on our promises, we need to have days like this. It's not enough for us merely last November to say, hey, vote for issue 4, we'll fix your roads. We did and we will, but days like today are important too, as constant reminders that, remember we said during issue 4 that this is going to fix a bunch of roads? Well, here it is. We are. And so we're going to have events like this all throughout the year, frankly. Part of what we're doing is unimproved roads. Unimproved roads have never really been a part of the puzzle in terms of fixing roads in Toledo. They are now. So I assure you, when we do our first unimproved road, we'll probably have another event like this. Not because we are seeking praise or adulation, but because it is important to show the citizens that we are making good on our promises. I mean, that is crucially important in democracy. It has nothing to do with elections or headlines or anything like that. This is about making sure citizens can trust us when we say we are going to do A, B, and C. So that's why events like today matter, to show that it wasn't just words last November, it's really happening. You're going to see more of these sorts of signs throughout the city. I can imagine them over time being worked into maybe bumper stickers or decals or magnets. Again, we want citizens to know that when they encounter a road like this, we want them to know what's happening. You know, for, I don't know, 20 years or so it seems that whenever I'm stuck behind a police car or a fire truck at a red light, there's that bumper sticker that says you're 0.75% hard at work. Well, this is new. Issue 4 represents something new. The 0.25% for roads is a new thing for Toledoans. We want to brand what we're doing today and all over Toledo so citizens know what they paid for. And again, this helps build the trust that we want in our community. So you're going to see these at every work site. We're going to have this sort of signage. I hope to build to the day where maybe our construction crews will, on their hard hats, they might have a sticker or a magnet or just something like that to remind people that we followed through on our promise, and that's what that 0.25% for roads does. So, with all of that talking done, we're kicking off the program. This is it. We're starting. And though I am not much of a NASCAR fan, I mean, I know just enough to be dangerous, I do know that you begin races, because we're gonna have to race to get all this work done. You begin races by waving a green flag. So, if we have timed this correctly, I'd like to, anyone who wants to join, we've gone through the trouble of obtaining a green flag, signaling that we are ready to start, that the race to fix these roads is ready to begin. So maybe, if we're doing this correct, when I wave the green flag, that truck is going to start ambling down the road, signaling the official beginning of the race to fix 42 miles of road in 109. So come on over here, Councilman, and April, Allison, let's wave this flag. Should we go hold it like this? Let's all hold it together. I asked Matt, is it Matt? Do you want to? He goes, go with that. I'm not about to do that. Let's rock. On the count of 3, we are going to begin the road resurfacing program for 21, a historic 109 roads, 15 times more the road we did last year, and if we win in a race, we're doing it. The green flag.
Let's start.